Let me find it on my phone. How are we looking? How are we looking? Are we looking good? Are we looking good? Okay. Let me find it on my phone. This is really the easiest way for me to read comments. Because up here, it disappears after about 2 seconds. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. There we go. There we go. I'm on. I'm on. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay, Grandpa Eric. Hey, Eric, how you doing? GKM. Hello, Skip. How you doing, KM? I'm going to do a video here in the next day or two. I just wanted to let you guys know. I've got a lot of things in there I wrote down to give you more information about things. There was a lot of questions I got about the Brownwood Square and about the taking down the windmill and the water stuff. It's all aesthetic. None of that really worked, but it was nice to look at. I mean, it kind of gave a good atmosphere to the Brownwood Square and the rotting wood, and why didn't the developer do this or that back in the day when he built it and everything else. And I gave my opinion about it. That's all I can ever do is give my opinion about what I've seen in 10 years, but I didn't like it. It seems to me they should have built that for, you know, a 50-year lifespan or something around here. I mean, this is a retirement community, so why are you building something that only lasts 10 years? It just seems asinine to me. Well, anyway, there was an article that came out in the paper, and Sue cut it out and gave it to me. Keep in mind, this comes from the newspaper that the developer owns, and he approves everything that goes in it. So I always take most of what I read in that paper with a big grain of salt. They discuss all this stuff in meetings, say, okay, put that in there. Yeah, okay, we'll release that. And I'm not in the developer's hip pocket, so I'll tell you exactly how I see things. That don't mean it's correct. I'm just telling you how I see things. And my seeing of things goes back 20 plus years. I know what it was 20 years ago. I know what it was 10 years ago. And I see what it is here. And I'm seeing the changes in the Fenney area. And as time goes on, I'll be honest with you, I don't care for some of the so-called improvements that I'm seeing. Does that mean I'm going to move? No. Does that mean I would recommend people not to come here? No. But what I am saying is I'm showing you the difference, and if things are changing that much now in, say, 20 years, what's it going to be like 20 more years? And I still go back to the original thing that I said probably, I don't even know, 10 years ago on one of my videos. How do you age restrict a city? I don't think it can be done. The difference is, I guess, is how big does this place have to get on the map, right? We're already got 2 zip codes, and we're 3 counties big. How big does this place have to be before somebody is going to take it to task that you cannot age restrict the city? That's like saying people that live in New York City have to be at least 55 years old. How do you do that? You can't do that. And I don't think it can be done here. There's got to be a limitation somewhere. Where's that limitation? I don't know. Well, KM, at the end of the last W&L show, I believe it was it? Yeah, there was a list that came up for thanking all the YouTube members, and I didn't pay no attention. I just put that. However you guys put your name in those lists, I generally just copy them and put them in the credits. So I don't know. I have to go back and look, I guess, to see if you're even a member. I don't know that you are. I don't know that you're not. But if you're not in green, I have absolutely no control over that. None. That's a YouTube thing. And if you're not in green, the only thing I can do is send them a notification saying, hey, these people aren't in green and they're members of mine, why not? That's all I can do. But if you're not in green, I don't know why. If you're a member, and I'm not saying you're not, I'm just saying double check and make sure you are, because there's a lot of people that tell me they're subscribed to my channel, And I can tell you, I can go check, and when I do go check, at least half of these people that say they're subscribed to my channel are not. They think they are, but they're not. And I keep telling them, go check. Listen, YouTube makes updates all the time. They make changes. And I'm thinking that's where the problem is. That when they make these updates and changes, it's kind of like going from one cell phone to a different cell phone at a different network. Glitches happen. And I think that's what's happening. I can't tell you that's what's happening because I don't work for YouTube. But just double check. That's all I can say. Well, one of the things about the water tower and windmill that you asked is one of the questions that was in there saying, why is the residents paying for this? It's a CDC of Brownwood. It's an agreement that the PWAC made when Brownwood was even in the development stages, that our PWAC money, not the amenities money, I'll have to read it to you, it's not the amenities money, and it's not maintenance fees. None of that has anything to do with it. It's the PWAC. They agreed to take care of that, and they have no choice. They have to replace the windmill, and they have to replace the water tower. The question seems to be, does the windmill have to go back up as being a wood one? Because apparently they're looking into having some ancient windmill from someplace else, who knows where, buying that and shipping it in and putting it there, because the material it's made of is a metal, and this metal product, whatever it is known to last for many decades, 100 years. So we'll see. They're still talking, they're still planning, they haven't decided anything yet, but they're working on it. WrestleMania. Hey dude. Mr. Cheeses, how you doing, bud? Kevin says, hey Skip, hope all is well. Everything's fine. Sue got both her eyes operated on. The first one was a little more difficult because she has scarring, where I understand it, on the cornea. And so they had to do some work there. And then the next week she just had, well, we call it simple surgery, but is there really such a thing as simple surgery? She had cataract removed. And during all this, we decided we're not going to play games with all these car dealers around here. They're all playing this game, and they're all pointing the finger, and it all boils down to one thing: it's corporate greed. These car dealers are doing things called, they have a fancy name for it. If you're wanting to buy a diesel pickup truck in the state of Florida, a lot of them, and it's the Ford dealers that are really bad about it, is a diesel pickup truck now has what they call a diesel surcharge. That's not a state thing. It has nothing to do with taxes. That's a made-up thing that the diesel pickup truck dealers are putting on brand new pickup trucks. Totally made up. Ford Corporation has even sent most of them a letter saying that they don't approve of this type of a way of doing business, and told them that when this is all over, they may not be getting the supply as much as they would like to, basically threatening them, right? So this one guy I know wanted to buy a dually, which these are expensive anyway, a dually Ford diesel pickup truck. I believe it was at least 3/4 ton. The sticker on it was $75,000. I said, what's that diesel surcharge? He said, well, I don't know. He said, but it was $20,000. $95,000 for a $75,000 pickup. Totally made up by the dealerships. I'm just letting you guys know because I know this. Well, the car dealerships now are starting to kind of play the same game. And a lot of them, Honda, I think was one, over at Leesburg. I think there was a Chevrolet dealership or two over there. Sue went to 3 or 4 of them over there, and all of them are doing it. It's called an economic upcharge, something like that, an economic upcharge. And she said, what is that? And the guy says $5,000. He said, whatever the sticker is on the new cars out there, just add 5,000 to it. That's what it is. Not including all the other stupid charges, freight. What else do they have on there? Freight and whatever, all this other stuff. So your $28,000 car could cost you $39,000 by the time they're done with all this stupid crap. I mean, seriously, that's how bad gouging is starting to get. And I suspect it's going to get worse too, because the economic stuff that I'm reading for the next 2 years is not good for anybody, anywhere in the United States. So, I don't know, we know a guy, you know how it is, right? I know a guy that know a guy. We just thought we'd try something different this time. I've always been a big backer of General Motors because my whole family retired from there. So I feel kind of like an obligation to support that whole effort. But I thought, well, you know, we called him up, and so we ended up getting another Chevy Equinox, except this time we got the Equinox that's a little higher up, what do you call it, the Premium or Premier or whatever it's called. As you can see, I'm not a gearhead. To me, they're all overpriced. They're all doomed for the junkyard. Every car on the highway is doomed for the junkyard. And I'm really upset because I didn't plan on buying a car right now. The car we had was fine. It ran perfect, no problem. We always kept top-notch service on it. And then this lady, because she's driving, she shouldn't have been driving, on prescription medications that I warned people about, and now we were subject to that problem. And now, because our car was older, and they decided they're going to total it out. I have no choice about it around here. I mean, that's just the way it is. So now I'm in debt again that I didn't plan on doing because of this lady. And that kind of upsets me. It really does. But anyway, we'll see. Plus Sue now had been going to the doctor like every day this month because she had that knee surgery before this happened. And it was kind of delicate anyway. Plus, she has this muscle disease, so she can't do the normal things that we would do, like tense up at a wreck, kind of brace her. She can't do that. So whenever she has an accident, she gets flopped around pretty bad. So she's got problems. I don't want to really get into it, but she got a few problems, and we had to rent our own car because the insurance company's dragging their feet. So basically what we're going to do is we're taking the receipt, we filled out the paperwork, we're going to mail Progressive Insurance the bill, and we'll see what happens there. Well, you can always tell when it's around lunchtime. People around here are like herd animals. They almost had 9-to-5 jobs. Because I swear to you, at noontime, everybody's out and about. Around 1 o'clock or so, everybody's on their way home or going back to wherever. Around 5 o'clock, same thing. Everybody's out and about. Grandpa said on the Western theme. Yeah, well, the Western thing is going to come back. I mean, that's a have-to thing. Their hands are tied. They have no say-so about it. People are saying, well, we shouldn't build it anyway. The price is too high. Whatever. The facts of it is, legally, the PWAC is obligated to put that back in there. So they're going to put it back in there. Well, Mr. Jesus, hurry. I saw somebody sent me a thing about you saying you had your heart valve replacement. It might have been Phil B, because I think his wife's mother or something had that done. Or maybe his wife did, Monica. I know she had some heart surgeries. So just relax. What else can you do, man? Just relax and follow the doctor's orders. Don't listen to all your neighbors and all the people that's never been educated in medicine at all. Don't listen to all their crap because they know nothing about it unless they've been through it, because they're not doctors. That's the way I feel about all this stuff. So you listen to your doctor, do what he tells you to do, and I'm sure you'll be fine, and someday we'll see you down here. Carol Weiss says, Porch Settin and W&L on the same day. Yeah, that happens whenever I have the W&L Wednesday. Then I have Porch Settin. I had a guy call me yesterday wanting to know if I was going to do Porch Settin today. I think he wanted to drop by, but I told him no because I'm getting ready for W&L. And basically, I think I'm ready. I got everything in there. Really, truthfully, with every show other than one or two that I can think of with last minute changes, I'm usually always ready by the time W&L gets here. I don't have my screen board up yet. Basically, it's a reminder board I have. It's one of them, I don't know what you call it. It's a whiteboard and you write on it with this black ink or whatever, and then you can erase it. I usually make that up. It's my reminder board that I set up that you guys generally don't see. And it kind of reminds me where I'm at and what time I'm supposed to be doing something. It kind of keeps me moving. Because when you get older, like it or not everybody probably, but in my case, my mind does not work as fast as it once did. And I have a tendency to get lost. I don't have Alzheimer's or anything. It's just that, I got a guest on, we're asking questions. I got to remember different questions. So I write the questions down so I don't forget. I depend on you guys to ask them questions because I read the comments. Linda reads the comments and we bring those questions forward. So we do all these kinds of things to keep things going. And then there's other things going on in the show that's in the back of my mind. I try to remember the different pictures we want to bring up, things. And so I have this board where I write down at 7 o'clock intro, 7:05 Linda. It'll say something like that. 7:15 guest. So that means from 7:05 to 7:15 I'm talking to Linda about something. So in there I may put a little note. Discuss Brownwood project, whatever. Things like that. And so just kind of, I'm always looking at that. I used to put Post-it notes all around my computer screen. And then as I would do each one of them, I would take it off and throw it in the trash. So by the time I got around to the screen, all the notes were gone, then I knew the show was over. Anyway, that's how I handle it for myself. The only thing that I keep my fingers crossed on is I always are hoping that the Wi-Fi connection is good and we don't have any major glitches. Because no matter how many times I check the system and check, you guys heard all this before, I know. It just seems like those glitches come up at the last minute, and I don't know where they come from. It's usually Wi-Fi connection of some kind. Last one, I think it was a StreamYard screw-up. Because they sent me an email saying that they checked everything, they seen what the problem was. They don't have an answer either. They don't. So there you go. Yeah, Sue's okay, Grandpa. She's all right. She's, a matter of fact, right now, she's just now starting to drive the car. She hasn't been driving the car at all for the last couple of weeks. The long story short of it is, we know a guy. We went down and talked to him about ordering a new car. He shows us on his computer all the cars coming in and the ones I was interested in. And we were told then it could be anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks at a time because it's a Teamster thing. The cars are scattered all around Florida that they are to be receiving over here at the car lot. Brand new cars I'm talking about. There's a bunch of them in Jacksonville. There's a bunch of them in Orlando. There's a bunch of them down in Tampa. But they can't get them here because Teamsters, it's a job for a Teamster driver. And Teamsters are tough about protecting their jobs. So I made the statement without even thinking. I said, well, can you send your customer over there just to pick the car up? Many years ago, that's how my dad got his new cars. He actually went to Detroit as an employee of General Motors and picked his car up at the end of the assembly line and drove it home. And he saved so much money by doing that. So that's why I said that. I said, well, can he go over and just pick it up? He said, no, we're not allowed at the lots, at the storage areas. And then he said, I said, are the drivers Teamster? And I knew they was. He said, I think they are. I said, and I ended the conversation right there because, yeah, argue about it, not argue about it. I mean, that's just the way it is. By the way, just so everybody knows, I'm drinking a beer today. It's going to be a Yingling. because it's fairly warm today. I don't know what the temperature is. I don't have it on my phone. I'll take a guess. High 80s, maybe 90, but it's got a breeze, so it doesn't feel so bad. Plus, I got the shade out, so it doesn't feel so bad at all. It feels rather nice right here. But yeah, I'm noticing everywhere. You notice the weather changes. People up north are in the 90s and never been this time of year in the 90s. Records are being broke everywhere. So droughts. Did you see the droughts are having in Nevada? They've never been that low before. The water guy in Arizona, he's some government official that's in charge of all that, where the water goes and who gets it. He has said that for the next couple of years, he says, not like you're going to go to your bathroom and turn the water on and there won't be no water. He said, but next 2 years is critical. He said, if they don't get a significant amount of snow melt or rain within the next 2 years, it was going to be, I forget how he put it, but it sounded like it was going to be not good at all. But you know, when you go to Las Vegas, I don't know how everybody else feels about it. You see nothing but water wasted everywhere, everywhere. Evaporation, all this kind of stuff. The water they use to clean off the streets, which is a waste of water. Water in a desert, they use millions of gallons to water grass in a desert that grass is not supposed to grow anyway. See what I'm saying? And it's, I don't know, it's kind of the same here. We're wasting water. Bad. Not as bad as a lot of places, I suppose, but here it is, 90 degrees. We're starting the rainy season, so it's starting to rain like every afternoon or every night now. So that helps a lot as far as having to turn your sprinklers on and water your grass. But I don't think a lot of people goes out and turns that sprinkler off during the rainy season, because I have actually seen water sprinklers here running while it was raining, and that's a waste of water. Now, our water here does come from the swamp to water your grass, but that water in the swamp has to be refilled somewhere. So they do a pretty good job over here, though, I will say that. They can move water around from one retention pond to another. There's big houses with pumps in them. And if one retention pond in one area gets a lot of rain and the other retention pond in another area doesn't, they can turn on them pumps and take water from this retention pond and move it to the other retention pond. So that's done here quite a bit. A lot of people don't know that, but it is done here quite a bit. John Hogan said, made it to the villages from, I can't recognize, I got a very small picture on my phone here. Looks like, I'm going to say England. Am I correct? Not correct? If I am, I'm sorry, but anyway, you made it across the big pond. Are you here for good? Are you here visiting? Just checking things out? If you're checking things out, you got a lot of things to check out, but have fun. Going places. How you doing, man? Hayner says, I heard you're going to turn your golf cart into a low rider with mag wheels. Nah, not me. My golf cart's stock. I mean, that's just the way I usually am. I like stock stuff. I don't care for all that modified stuff. I got nothing against it. People do what they want to do, right? But I come from the 50s and 60s era, and where people jacked their cars up and baby moons and all that kind of thing, and you know, four on the floor, Hurst shifters. So I did all that when I was younger. Now that I'm older, listen, I appreciate the stability. I appreciate the ride. I appreciate the safetiness of some of these newer cars, and that's what I stick with. And if I was to buy me another 57 Chevy, that was my very first car, by the way, I would look for one that's been redone factory. I don't care about a 57 Chevy sitting on top of a Cadillac frame with all that stuff. No, I would like to have a 57 Chevy factory. Factory paint, color, factory upholstery, I know the factory don't make it, but you know what I mean. You can get this stuff. That's what I would like, is one of those, because I'm not going to drive it everywhere. I'm not going to even take it on long trips. Probably just around town here, maybe go to a car show or two, that kind of thing. It's most of them that they have these cars, they sit in the garage 90% of the time. They don't go anywhere anyway. So that's really why I've never bought one. Because the last time I saw a 57 Chevy that was factory, two-door, which is what I had, hardtop, had the original radio, tube radio, and boy, where do you get them from? I don't know, but he had and it worked. A tube radio, all that kind of stuff, a 6-cylinder inline with a power glide transmission. And I looked at it, and it was for sale, and it was completely done from the frame up. $137,000. I mean, it's a lot of work. I mean, to build one of them things, and generally speaking, when you rebuild a car, you don't never make money at it. You lose money. $137,000. Who knows how much he had in it? Jerry Bell, how you doing, man? Grandpa says, shout out to Meadow 37. So we'll give you a shout out, Meadow 37. Grandpa says, perhaps a windmill to generate electricity for the nightly entertainment. You know, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? You bring that up. Another guy brought up a point. We're in the Sunshine State, right? That a lot of our street lights here, a lot of them, not all, actually probably very small, are solar lights at night that come on. Like for the lights inside the tunnels, I think most of them are solar. There's a solar panel outside, probably hidden behind a bush somewhere, and those operate on solar. The big street lights, like what's in my neighborhood on every corner down here to light up the roads and things, those are not solar. None of them are. But you do wonder why they're not using more solar for things like that, for like lights and things. I understand as far as, you know, solar you would need to operate the downtown square would be significant, and a significant amount of money and storage for the batteries and whatever. And they just probably don't have the room down there to do all that. So I can kind of understand that a little bit. But you do wonder why they don't use more solar than what they use. Marcia, $5 super chat. Thanks, Marcia. Appreciate it. By the way, Marcia, I think I sent you an email. No, not an email. I think I commented. You said something about you were not a moderator anymore. Well, you notice you are now. I went to the moderator section on that tells me who the moderators are, and your name wasn't in there. And you, as you well know, it was in there before. I did not take it out. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to subscribership also. Sometimes these things are being changed or being moved. I don't know why. I suspect, because I get notification all the time from YouTube saying there's been an update, there's been a change, there's been a this or that. And I think during them changes and during them update, that's where the glitches are happening, and certain names are not being transferred with the update. Kind of like when you get a new phone. You know how you get your phone? I'm with Verizon. And if I stick with Verizon phones, I don't have a problem. But years ago, I used to have AT&T. And then I went to Verizon. And I won't say half, that's a lot, but there was quite a few of my contacts that was on my AT&T phone did not transfer to my Verizon phone for some reason. I had to manually put them in. And I'm thinking it's a glitch like that that might be happening on YouTube. So that's why I always remind people, I'm not trying to nag anybody, is to, if you're not being notified about stuff, I want to talk to you about that too. Check and make sure you're subscribed. You need to double check, because I don't do it, but it's very possible that during one of these updates that YouTube has made, you could have been dropped for one strange reason or another. Whoops. Well, crap. Well, I can't show you. I got so many bushes around here anymore, which I like, by the way, because I can kind of sit out here behind my bushes, and if I'm not talking, nobody knows I'm out here. You know, I am a people person. I really am. I love meet and greets. I love meeting people that maybe I've talked to on the channel, or I've seen their name 100 times, and then we get a chance to, they come down, they send us an email about a meet and greet, and if we can, we go out of our way to do it, and we get a chance to, I don't know, put a face with a name is what I've always said, but basically it's just a chance for us to meet people that know us, but we don't know you. And so, and then meet and greets are always a challenge, because you know what me and Sue look like, but we have no idea what you look like. And so sometimes if we're meeting at a restaurant, we walk in a restaurant and we're just kind of standing there looking around, hoping that somebody will wave at us or something, because we don't know who we're meeting. But thanks for the $5 super chat there, Marcia. I'm going to give you an update on tonight's WNL, as long as everything works right, where we're at so far on the early donations, I'll say, to the children's wish thing that we do in February or December. And we're moving along. I've got some ideas about how to get a few dollars here and a few dollars there to help move things along, and we'll see how that goes. So watch tonight's WNL, and you'll get a couple of glimpses about what we're hoping to do. We're going to try to do. We can only do what we can do, and the truth is we can't do anything without your help. So we're going to let you guys know what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, or I think how we're going to do it. Most of the time we're just winging it. We have no idea. We don't have a professional person here to guide us along. We just make these things up as we move along. Pilot Guy says the windmill and water tower were not maintained as they should have been. Even untreated wood will last for years if properly maintained. And that could be true. I don't know all the different woods down here that they use for outside purposes. That wood there's an article in there that tells you exactly what that wood is, and I think where it come from and how it was made, I don't know. I know that down here, cypress, is it cypress? Yeah, cypress is one of the hardest woods you can get, but I think there's a restriction on harvesting cypress, and probably super expensive, especially now, you know, during the COVID and all. So I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but I'll read that article. I'll do a video and I'll read that article to you, and then you guys can weigh in on it and what you think. KM says Hoover Dam is so low. Yeah, what is that called? Hoover Dam's the dam, but what's the water reservoir called? I went there a couple of times. Shoot, I should know, but I don't. Anyway, when I was down there, that's a hot area too. It's a low area. We got down there one day and it was like 120 degrees in the shade. It was so bad. We couldn't park in the underground or the under canopy area. All the tour buses were in there and had it all blocked up. So I had to park actually on the Arizona side, and it was outside parking. And then I had to walk back to the Nevada side, which is a long walk, to take the tour. If you've seen Chevy Chase's Vacation, I took that tour where you actually go in the dam and walk around. They show you stuff. So, and then when we got done, we went over to the snackateria and got a couple of drinks, and we sat there for a while and kind of rested. And I told Sue, I said, oh, we need to go get the car. So we started to walk across. I got a bird on top of my canopy here making noise. To go across to get her car. We didn't make it, or she didn't. It was so hot, she felt faint. And so I had her stand, there's a street light there, and that's the only shade there was. I told her, I said, try to stay in this shade. I'm going to go get the car and I'll come back and get you. She said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'll stop in the dam. I don't care about these people. I will stop in the middle of the dam to pick you up. If they don't like it, tough. So I went over to get the car. I couldn't hardly get the car unlocked because the door handle and things was so hot. When I opened the car, this car had leather seats in it. We rented this car, by the way. It had leather seats in it. Man, if you ever do this, take a blanket or something with you. I couldn't get in the car. It would literally burn my skin. I had to reach in, start the car, turn the air on, and I stood there for the longest time, trying to wait till the car would cool down or the seats would cool down somewhat. And even then, when I got in, it burnt the back of my legs. I had to go at the hotel we were at, the casino we were at, and get medical treatment. And I picked Sue up. And I did. I stopped in the middle of the dam to pick her up, and we both went home. And I told her then, I'm never doing this again. If we have to come down here, I highly recommend take the tour bus. The car thing, it wasn't good. John says, England is correct. Well, welcome, John. I don't know where you're staying at, but it don't make no difference. But enjoy yourself. Don't hesitate getting in that golf cart and getting lost. Stay off the main roads. Stay on a golf cart trail. They're usually marked, you can tell. And don't worry about getting lost. If you happen to get lost, here's what you do. Take a map with you, any map. And if you're renting through the Village's lifestyle thing, you get a free map. They're laying there. Take it with you, and here's why. If you get lost, first of all, the map can help you. Or if you don't have the map, you got your iPhone or whatever, you can download the Village's golf cart trail map. Get the one you pay for. That's the good one. It's like $8 or something. Get that. That's the good one. The other one's not so good. And if that still isn't enough, take the map, open it up, and pour your golf cart into a grassy area next to a golf cart trail. Throw the map over your steering wheel. Guarantee you, next 2 or 3 golf carts that go by, somebody's going to stop by and holler at you and see if you need any help. Guarantee it. So that's why I say, don't worry about getting lost. Jimmy Cunningham says, just moved down to Fenney from Oklahoma. It's going to be a complete change for you, Jimmy, especially this November and Christmas when you're used to things being a certain, unless you're going to go home for those kinds of things. I don't know that you are. But I remember the first year we were down here for Christmas, I still worked. This is probably a long story, but I'll make it short. And I took 2 weeks off for Thanksgiving. We didn't have a home here yet. I've owned 2 homes. We rented a place up around Spanish Springs somewhere. I don't remember which one. And we had a golf cart. And it was around Thanksgiving. And Sue said, what do you want to do for Thanksgiving dinner? Well, on vacation, we didn't cook. I don't think anybody does on vacation, do they? I said, we're going to go out. I said, I don't know. I said, let's go out. I said, truthfully, I said, I'm not a turkey fan. The meat, I never have been. I can eat it, but I've never been a big fan of turkey at all. I didn't know what. She said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, let's go out and have a nice Thanksgiving dinner where we can get what we want. You get what you want, I can get what I want. And at that time, Arnold Palmer Country Club was fairly new. It just opened up maybe within that year. And I've never been there. I said, let's take the golf cart. I said, call and make an appointment. You had to then. You had to make an appointment for your Thanksgiving dinner because they filled up. And so we made an appointment. And so we got in the golf cart, left early in case I got lost. And we went over to Arnold Palmer's. And we went inside, and she asked our name, and she had this schedule, and she took us, and she says, "You want to eat in or out?" Now this is like Thanksgiving Day. And it took me a second to realize I can actually eat outside down here on Thanksgiving Day. I mean, up north, forget it. You ain't eating outside. It's cold, maybe even snow. So I said, let's eat outside. Why not? It was like 75 degrees. It was a nice day. There was no rain. There was no breeze. It was just a nice day. And she said, okay. So we go and we sat outside. They had tablecloths on the table. They had it all decked out pretty nice. And that first year that I came down here for Thanksgiving, I had a New York strip steak and a lobster tail. That was my Thanksgiving dinner. And I got to tell you, I remember that to this day because I think it was just the aesthetics difference of being able to eat in shorts. I didn't. Sue made me wear long pants and got dressed up for it, but you could eat in shorts. I'm sitting outside, and it was just a total lifestyle change. And that's what you're going to have to get used to that first year you're here. It'll just kind of blow your mind a little bit. Jerry says, can't wait till 7 p.m. Well, Jerry, I know that a lot of people really like to watch that show. I'm a bundle of nerves. That's why I like, I'm done. I'm pretty well set up in there. I got a couple little things I may do, but other than that, I'm set up. I don't think I need to do any kind of a systems check because the guest that we have on this show, he's been on it once before, so he knows how to do it. So I don't need to system check him anyway. You know, Ira Miller, he's our guest this month. And he's got his own live channel, so he knows how to do it. I got another guest coming on for a short period of time. I'm not going to say who. I'm going to keep that a little secret. He probably won't be on very long. It's kind of an update of what this guest has been doing. So all of you know, I mean, I'm open to all kinds of guests. And I don't point fingers at any guest for any reason. You know, I've had guests on about reverse mortgages. I'm not telling you to get a reverse mortgage. I'm not saying I hate reverse mortgages. I'm not saying I like reverse. I'm not saying I like the company these people even work with. I don't know anything about it. I just have guests on to get more and more information out to you guys because what you may not like, the other guy may. So that's why I do it. I've had different contractors on for different things. If I use these people, I'll let you know that I've used these people. So there's been all kinds of them. Muskypotamus, I don't know if you're on here or not, but you sent me one on the last Wednesday's Porch Settin, wanting to know who did my glass enclosure on my lanai. And I told you, I said, send me an email and I'll send you their information. You never sent me an email. So I don't have your email to send you the information unless you send me an email. So just send me an email, you know, and I'll send that to you. Otherwise, we did a video here a while back, long while back. Me and Sue sat out on Lanai, and I had a stack of cards of all the different contractors I've used here for a lot of things. And these are people that I know that you can use. Now, since then, you can't go by all them names, I don't think, today, because when I done that video, some of those contractors I think have sold out to other people. And so other people now are running that company. Not all, but some. So that's why I say send me an email and I'll send you the information. And then tell them that I sent you, because these companies, whenever I send somebody to them to do work, if you do the work, if you tell them it's from me, some of these companies will give me a little bit of a residual check. You know, it may not be cash. You know, some do, some don't. And some of them don't do it on every one of them either. Like, for example, I'll tell you, Roberto's Flooring. They do great work. I've used Roberto's Flooring on both of my houses at least 3 different times. I know at least 20 different people that watch my channel has used Roberto's Flooring and told them that they got their information from me on my channel. And Roberto's Flooring about 4 years ago sent me a $50 gift certificate for Olive Garden. Now, I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, sometimes they don't give you something all the time. They give you something once in a great while, and that's it. I'm starting to lean toward sponsorship. I've been offered that several times. I've always kind of rejected it because I don't want this to turn into. I know YouTube throws commercials on here. This is commercial free right now. The live shows are commercial free. I'm trying to entice other people to come to these live shows, but most people just don't want to come to them. I don't know why. You know, out of 50,000 subscribers, and then on a show like this, I get 97 people to show up. See what I'm saying? The mathematics there is just not in line. And so that's what I watch. I watch those kinds of numbers to see if I'm going to continue doing something. And so, you know, and the reason why I like live chat, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of stinginess on my part. I don't have to edit this. I get done here, the show's over. And if you notice, there's no intro, there's no outro, or any of that. But when I get done here, I'm going to go inside, and that's when I monetize this. So the replay will always have commercials from YouTube. Now, just imagine if I sponsored somebody and I had 2 or 3 commercials in here also, it'd just be unbearable to watch. People just wouldn't want to watch it. Lake Mead, Marcia, you are absolutely correct. They've already found what I say is a mafia hit, body in a barrel. I mean, who else puts bodies in barrels, right, and sink it? And I think they found another one, another barrel that had remnants of a body in it. And these barrels has been in there, they say, last report I heard was like in the 80s. That's what they're estimating. Been down there since the 80s. So, yeah. They're finding things. Bertie says, happy day, Skip. Every day down here is a happy day. You know, I mean, I know I get accused a lot of spreading bad news on the news channel. Hey, but you know, there's an old saying about the news. Bad news is good news, because that's what people want to watch. Nobody goes to a car race to see a nice, clean race. They all go to car races to see the wrecks. That's what they go there for. And it's just like your 11 o'clock news on Channel 6 at night. It's 99% bad news, because that's what people like to watch. And so anyway, I don't make the news up. I just read it. So you can't blame me for the news. I don't get in my reporter's car and my reporter's camera. Sometimes I do, and I'll add it to the news, but I generally don't. And go scouting around in my car looking for news. I don't do that. I don't get paid to do that. This, all you see here is all free, unless you want to super chat or whatever like that, or become a YouTube member to help support the channel. But this is all free. So, you know, I can't be burning up gas and tearing up my car and taking all my hours during the day running around doing this kind of thing. And I'm just not going to do that. So I get the news out of newspapers, out of other news channels. The Village's Gazette is one. The Village's News is another. The Daily Sun is another. The Orlando paper, the Orlando Sun is a Centennial, is another. Because a lot of surrounding towns likes to report about the villages, because we're the biggest game in town. And so they'll use our community to compare other communities. You know, that's what they do. That's why the homes around here will tell you, you know, enjoy the villages without paying all the fees, because they're not part of the villages. And they use that as a selling point. Yeah, Eric, 57 Chevy was my first car. That's what me and Sue dated in. And when I bought it for $450, because that's the money I saved up working in the summer months when I was out of school. And what else did I do in the summer? I baled hay for a farmer that lived not too far from us. I got paid $1 an hour to bale hay. That's a rough job, let me tell you. And then I also worked evenings and on weekends pumping gas at a gas station. Yeah, I was the guy with the changer thing on the belt and wiping your windshield off, and, you know, checking the air in your tire and checking the oil. And, you know, the kids today don't know anything about any of that, but I done that. I got paid $1.65, I think, an hour doing that. And that's pretty much when I decided I wasn't going to bale hay anymore. That was a much easier job for more money. Not that it was an easy job, but it was much easier. And what else have I done in the summer months when I got out of school? See, old Macy's grocery store in Pendleton during the summer months, generally at night. I'm thinking like I've worked night my whole life. I helped restock the grocery shelves for I think I got $1.25 an hour doing that. And there were some other things that I'd done when I got out of school. And I saved this money up and bought this car. And Dad always told me, he said, I'll match you dollar for a car, whatever you buy, up to, I forget what, he gave me a dollar figure, up to so much money. So what I did, my master plan was, and I told Dad what I wanted to do. He said he was fine with it. He said, if that's what you want to do, he said, that's what we'll do. I bought this car and I paid cash for it. But even then, I think Dad had to sign for it for me, even though it was cash, because I was under 21. And I took his $450 that he matched me with, and I used that money to do some work to the car. New tires, chrome wheels, baby moons. And then shortly after that, a year or so after that, I made enough money to where I took the inline 6-cylinder motor out, replaced it with a 265 V8, took the transmission, automatic transmission out, replaced it with a Hurst 4-speed. Of course, you had to put a clutch in it, had to cut a hole in the floor, all these things. I did all that. So I'm really not interested in doing that anymore. Sue's at ladies' lunch today, and she took the car today. This is about really only about the second time I think she drove the car, so her eye must be getting better. I think the doctor told her about a week, maybe 2, and she should notice a significant change. So it must be getting better. Yeah, I do worry a little bit that maybe she's driving and shouldn't be driving, but I leave it up to her. I mean, it's I bashed her several times. She did tell me here a while back. She said I don't think I'm going to need to wear glasses when this is all done, healing. I said, really? And I have noticed the last few days she's been walking around the house not wearing glasses at all. But I do know she wears reading glasses, not her regular glasses, just a reading glass when she's looking at the newspaper every morning. That's a significant improvement right there. So it must be okay. And she took our neighbor to ladies' lunch today. They're new, fairly new. And so she took her over to ladies' lunch today also. I don't know where ladies' lunch is. I don't get involved with it. Shake and Bake says, Skip needs a producer. I do. I needed several people that really know what they're doing because I wing it. I mean, I have always said, I wing all this. I just try to figure it out. It's just like when I got my first smartphone. Nobody sat down and showed me how to use it. I'm sure there's classes around here, but I'm not one for sitting in classes with people, and I'm just not. I just figure it out. Well, the computer was the same way. I just kind of figured it out. And then when I went to have a live show, if you go back to the very first show or two that you'll notice number 1 show you can't even get. I got that private. It was so bad. I'm embarrassed to even let people see it. But the second one was not good, but better than the first one. And then you compare what we did back then to what we're doing now. I look at them, I think it's a significant improvement. Sound quality, the picture quality, stuff. And I just figured it out. But there's some things that I'm still struggling with. I mean, I bought some high dollar stuff like audio equipment and things like that. I'm on my 4th different microphone. These microphones ain't cheap. And I'm looking for that very nice sound quality that I'm getting from the microphones. And I play with the audio equipment over here for the, all the different settings you got. And I have readjusted this thing 100 times, and I just can't seem to get it right. So man, I could use a good audio guy that really knows what they're doing to set this stuff up. I mean, all I do is okay, and nobody's really complained about it, I don't think. Then also, even when you get it right where it sounds good in my earphones, where, oh man, that sounds good, I'll leave it right there. I'm losing something because when I do the show, and then the show goes from StreamYard to YouTube, right? And then I go to YouTube and I rewatch the whole show and replay. I want to see it. I want to know how it's going. I noticed two things. I have no idea who this is pulling in my driveway. And now they're backing out of my driveway. They got New York license plates. It looked like some young kid looking for grandma's house. Who knows? What was I talking about? Damn, I done lost my train of thought again. Oh well, must not have been important. Well, you say people are at work shake and bake and they can't watch. Well, I understand most of that. I mean, I was a nighttime worker. I worked third, well, I won't say always third, but I worked nighttime shifts practically my whole life. Everybody that watches me regular knows that. I mean, I worked at Brockway Glass. It was third shift right out of high school. Because I'm just not the college guy. Well, I should take that back. I did go for a short period of time to... I can't think of the name of it. GMIC, General Motors Institute. I was going to be a mechanical drawing, and I did that for about 6 months, but their system they had back then for that drove me nuts. And when you're 18, 19 years old, you're not thinking about what happens when you're 55 and 60, or at least I didn't. I just told Dad, I said, I just can't do this anymore. I quit. He told me then, he said, that's going to be a mistake. Well, it was, but I did. So from there, I went to Brockway Glass. I got a job working third shift. That job lasted 2 weeks. I quit. And then from there, I went and worked third shift at RCA in Marion, making pictures back when black and white picture tubes were the norm, and the color picture tubes were just coming out. And I did that for about, I'm going to say about 6 months. And they fired me. But while I was there, I got a job there. Because back in the day, they would tell you who they were going to hire next month. And they came around and told me, my boss did, which was John Little, Dave Little. That was my supervisor. He came and told me, he said, if you know anybody that needs a job, they're going to hire 100 women next month. Women. Today you can't do that. They did back then. And so I told Sue if you're interested in a job, and she was. She went up there. Now, I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but I had several aunts that worked inside that factory. Unbeknownst to me, I think her name was Rosemary, that worked in the employment office. She's the one that pulled out the applications and marked them hire. That ended up being one of my family relatives I never knew about, and I didn't know it then. I think my aunts went and told Rosemary, pull this application. She's our nephew's wife or whatever. And anyway, Sue got pulled in and went to work. And she worked there for 25 years. So, yeah, I did that for third shift. And then my only daytime job I really had, well, two of them I had, is I went to work for Gentry's Cabinets. Charlie Gentry was the owner of the place. I didn't know anything about building cabinets. And he told me, he said, we'll walk you through it if you're interested in knowing it. He said, we'll walk you through it. I said, yeah, okay. And I was there for a few years. I enjoyed it. But then they somehow ousted Charlie. They said he was using company funds for personal reasons or whatever, and then they ousted him. And as a kid, I just couldn't understand that. How do you fire somebody that owns the place? But they did. And they took it over. When they took it over, and Charlie was gone, it kind of like the villages. All of a sudden, instead of being a family-owned business, it turned into a corporation. And we're going to run the corporation a corporate way. and the personalities kind of went out the window. And I didn't last much longer after that. That was when I bought my first business. I bought it, and I went in and opened the store up the next day, and I never went back to work. I never called them, never told them anything. I just said, they don't care about me, I don't care about them. This whole idea of saying you got to give us 2-week notice, what law is that? If I liked you, and if you treated me fair, then I would do that. But when you treat somebody like crap, and now you want me to do you a favor and give you, I'm no. So anyway, I bought the first business, and it was an electronical store. We had it for 2 or 3 years. I sold that business to another company, and I did okay on that. And then after that, I believe it was about when I bought my first semi-truck and became an owner-operator. I didn't know anything about driving a semi-truck, as ironic as that may sound. But I went down to the license branch, got my first chauffeur's license. I went with a guy that I knew that had a truck. I went with him on one trip, and on the way back, he let me drive a truck back, and he said, there you go. He said, now you know what to do. I leased my truck on. They leased it on pretty easy peasy. Maybe they shouldn't have, but they did. And I got my first load that day, and I was on the road for I don't even know how many years, 10 years as an owner-operator. Then I bought my own small company. I run it for a while till Ronald Reagan got in office. I'm not blaming Reagan, but it's in that time frame. And that's when Otis Bowen became governor of Indiana. They all started the CDL, the IRP license plate. Insurance companies went crazy like they are right now. I didn't know what insurance was going to cost me. It was just if you didn't know anything about that system back then, it was a frickin' nightmare. And I didn't know what was going on. I closed the company. But I left with a clear conscience because at that time I knew Paul somebody, and I can't think of his name. But anyway, Paul Duke. I think it's Paul Duke or Duke Paul. Anyway, he owned Duke's GMC in Anderson, Indiana. He had his own trucking company called Carter. And Carter Freight was because Roosevelt Carter. Roosevelt Carter was a black man. And as a black man back in the day, you could apply for what they called minority authority. And so minority authorities, companies like General Motors and these other companies, they were guaranteed to get a percentage of that freight off that dock because of the minority authority. Well, Paul Duke bought that minority authority off of Roosevelt, and he had that, I think, until this day, that Carter Express runs on that minority authority. I got all my drivers a job over there because I told them I was going to close my doors because I didn't know what was going on, and I was losing money like crazy, and I'm done until I figure this out. And he said, send them over. He said, I'll give every one of them a job. So every one of them could have had a job if they wanted it over there. And we closed our door. We sold our equipment. We had an auction sale. A lot of my trucks I took to Chicago at an auction sale. And we just sat back and took a deep breath after all that and started over. And that's when I bought my little farm. Because a best friend of mine was president of a bank. And I told him, I said, I think I'm going to buy this little farm, and I'm going to keep one truck to haul steel out of Gary, Indiana to Indianapolis truck and bus. And that's all I'm going to do, the farm and truck, and I'm just going to sit back and do this until I figure out what's going on. I've done that for 5 years or so, and then I went to work for Ryder Integrated Logistics as a daytime delivery driver. I did that for a while, and I was okay with it. Ryder, or Zellerback paper company, sold out to International Paper. That's where I lost my job there. I went and transferred to Saturn Automobile Company. I was a truck driver there until Saturn closed their doors. And I just said, you know what, I'm sick of this. Every time you're in a company where you start getting seniority built up, it seems like every 5 years you got to start over because of one thing or another. I told Sue, I said, I'm not taking another truck driving job unless I know it's a solid job, and I don't care where it's at, I'll move if I have to. Now, a lot of this is before Sue really got sick. And then I went down to Indianapolis. And I got my job with Overnight Transportation. You may not know, but they were, at that time, they were one of the largest less than a truckload companies in the United States. And they had the best pay, best benefits of any of the less than a truckload companies. And that includes the Teamster companies too, because they were not Teamster at the time. Well, then UPS bought us out. And then they changed the name to UPS Freight. Once again, I went from a company that was basically run like a family-owned company to a corporation, and they run it like a corporation. And may I say, UPS is even worse than that. They run it kind of like a military corporation. Their thumb is on you all the time. And but by that time, I had enough seniority in. I had my retirement built up. I had medical insurance, but because Sue now has been diagnosed, so I had to have that medical insurance, to do things. And so I was stuck. I really couldn't go anywhere. So I just bit the bullet and I just did what I had to do uh, until I could finally get out of there. And so that's my experience in working, basically. All nighttime work. Oh, Cindy Patterson, $20. Thank you so much, Cindy. Appreciate it. I've been rambling here and not paying no attention to what I'm doing. But appreciate it, Cindy, so much. Where did I leave off at back here? Juju Bean. That's a good YouTube name. Juju Bean. I used to eat Juju Beans when I went to the movies. I bet a lot of the kids today don't even know what a Juju Bean is. Bill Jenkins says, checking in. Hope all is well. Everything's fine, man. Everything's fine. Listen, when you hear my news on Friday, and spread it to other people you know. If you talk to people and they talk about how I'm negative a lot, because I'm getting those emails once in a while. Not a lot really, but I am getting them. I just like to set the record straight. I'm not negative about this place at all. I am just reading the news and letting you know, for a retirement community, in your mind, everybody has an idea what they think a retirement community is. Because you've probably been down here and checked a few of them out. Maybe you've been in Arizona and you checked a few of them out. Here in the villages may not be the retirement community that you have pictured in your mind. So that's why I say this place ain't for everybody. WrestleMania says you gotta go. He gotta go back to work. You all remember that, right? Work, ugly four-letter word. But hey, I got another question about the WNL and everything. Everybody looks forward to the train wrecks. I know everybody gets a kick out of them. I know you do, but trust me when I tell you, I don't. I do find some of them a little bit funny, especially when a little quirkiness happens, but I know how to get out of it, and I'll laugh at it. But when something major happens, like on the last show, and nobody has an answer for it, I get frustrated because my mind says, what am I paying for if this isn't going to work right? Why am I have high-speed internet if I'm going to continually have Wi-Fi speed issues? I mean, we call them over there all the time. And this is what I get frustrated with. It's like, why are you buying a brand new car if every time you go out and get in this car, it won't start? See what I'm saying? That's what frustrates me, is that. Not you guys. And really not my equipment, even though I know I hit the wrong button all the time and stuff like that. But forget all that. That's all well and good and that's fun. But when I go in there to start the show and my Wi-Fi slows down to the point that we're all freezing and things ain't doing right, that's what frustrates me, because I'm paying for high-speed internet, and I shouldn't be doing this. Oh my gosh. Where's it at? Whoops. Somebody's mowing grass. Cindy, did you mean to give me 2 super chats? Because that's what I'm seeing on here. I got 2 super chats. If that's a mistake, let me know. Because I think, I won't swear to it, but I think I can go in there and I can refund one of them back to you, if you made a mistake. Bill Beard says, UPS, what can skid mark do for you? Well, I tell you, at UPS, it can really be a major mess up. Because, you know, when they bought overnight, we are less than a truckload freight company. We are not a small package company. That's what UPS is. And I don't know how they thought they was going to integrate us with them. I don't. Because they're union, we're union, we have our agreements, they have their agreements. UPS tried so much stuff that it just became, it was stressful for everybody. Here's an example. I run my last run I did was after I left the California team run. I loved that run, by the way. And my partner retired and I couldn't do it anymore, and I didn't want to run with anybody else, so I quit doing it. So I bid on a run. I go from Indianapolis to Columbus, Ohio, drop 2, pick up 2, and come back to Indianapolis and go home, basically. And I did that for about 5 years, I think. During this time, UPS kept trying to make us do things. Like I go over there to get my 2, and the dispatcher over there saying, I've got you lined up, you got one Indianapolis, they call them Indy, got one Indy, and you're going to drop this one trailer off at Columbus UPS North. I said, what? What is that? That's a UPS terminal that's north of Columbus. They got a trailer load of small package stuff here, and they'd be taken up there and dropped off. I don't work for UPS. I work for UPS Freight. I'm not hauling UPS Freight. I'm not hauling UPS's freight. I work for UPS Freight. See what I'm saying? And they kept saying, well, you have to go. Well, those kinds, they do it to other people too. Well, then next thing you know, the union's getting involved, saying, no, 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 that's their company. You're taking a job away from somebody up there, and you can't do that because you need to create a job here. That's their union agreement. Now, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, these are adult people that negotiated this stuff, and they all put their name on the contract. So that's the agreement. And it was stuff like that. It was always a constant argument. And then at one time, they tried this. They wanted us, because we had drivers in Indianapolis, they were called extra board. So whenever I took a day off, they would call an extra board driver to run my run. That's our job. People get sick, they use the extra board drivers to run that run. Well, they tried to get extra board drivers because they didn't get jobs every day. They weren't guaranteed to work every day. So then UPS would say, hey, you got any extra board drivers down there? We need a guy to come up to UPS up here in Indianapolis, some UPS terminal, and we need him to run city freight for us. And they were doing that, and then the union got involved again, saying, you can't do that. You guys need to hire more people up there. You have to create a job, not do away with a job. And it was always stuff like that, constantly going on, and it just got to be really frustrating. Margie says, how would I rate the healthcare system in and around the villages? I can't speak for around the villages because I don't do my healthcare out there. Sue could speak on that more than me. I can tell you that I think she's fairly happy with her. She has a standard Medicare, and she has Blue Cross and Blue Shield, but down here they call it Florida Blue as her insurance with that. And she has regular treatments, and she has special treatments, and she has to go to just like this cataract surgery and things like that. And I think she's more than happy with what she's got and the doctor she has, things like that. I'm in the village's healthcare system, and I can tell you that I don't want to say I'm displeased with it. I'm frustrated with it. Why am I frustrated with it? The doctors in the village's healthcare system, are we buffering? I think we are, ain't we? I think I can see it buffering a little bit. Hopefully that'll fix. But anyway, it's the doctors they hire down here in the village's healthcare system, they're all old. And so here I am I'm just coming into my 8th year of living here full time, and I'm already working on my 3rd doctor in the same place. in the same village's health system. And when you go to see these doctors, they got to know who you are and what you are. And my mind just says, what's the computer stuff all about? All that information should be on there. So I don't understand why they keep asking me these dumb questions. And I haven't been to a doctor in probably, it's been 8 or 9 months probably. So I sent them an email a while ago saying I need to make an appointment with this new doctor, who I don't know who it is, because I know my doctor retired. So whoever took his place, I guess that's who I would need to go see. But I'll tell you what they're going to tell me. It happened the last time too. They won't answer that email. They won't call me. They won't say anything. What they're going to do is they're going to tell me I have to go to a website and pick a doctor that's available. And that frustrates me. I had a doctor. If this doctor took over my doctor's practice, then why am I automatically grandfathered into this doctor? But no, they'll say, go pick one. I don't know who to pick. And that doctor may or may not be in this building that I'm used to go to. This doctor could be in Brownwood, which I've been down there before. This doctor could be in Lake Sumter, which means I'd have to go way up there or it could be in Spanish Springs for that matter. And I may have to go way up there. And that's what frustrates me is that. And in their system, that's the way it is. You don't really have what I call a family doctor anymore. Everybody's a specialist now. Everybody. And here's how I feel about that. I think everybody's just trying to get their piece of the pie. I go see my doctor and I complain about a neck ache. Just a simple neck ache, right? Instead of a family doctor being able to x-ray you and look at it and say, well, I don't see no significant damage. It looks like this or that. Take a couple of aspirin, go home, call me tomorrow. You know, you don't get any of that. He immediately sets you up an appointment to go see some other doctor that specializes in the spine. So now you got to go over there next week. Then he'll look at it. And then he in turn is going to send you somewhere now to get an MRI done. And then you got to go back to your doctor to discuss the out things of an MRI. And the doctors will tell you, you only have to go every 6 months. So they don't think going to a doctor a couple of times a year is a big deal. It's never a couple of times a year. You go to a doctor to complain about anything, and you might have to go to 6 different doctors now before you can go visit your family in Indiana. I mean, that's the stuff that frustrates me. But as far as them doing a job, they do a job. As far as me being with the village's health system so far, I don't think I've paid for anything in 8 years. Not even my medicine. The way it's set up, I just, everything's paid for me. And I've had MRIs, I've had, I don't know, I haven't had anything major really done, but I've had some things done. I had some cancer taken off of my, skin cancer taken off of my face. I don't even remember everything that was done. But anyway, so far it hasn't cost me anything. And the doctors do what they do. Grandpa says, you aren't negative, Skip. Others put on a show, and we appreciate your thought. Well, I'm glad you noticed that others put on a show. Because I laugh sometimes. I do. Especially the thumbnails. Does this thumbnail look... A thumbnail is that little thing you see on YouTube before you click on the thumbnail. They say is what draws your eye. It draws your eye down there to get you to click on that video. The more views, the more clicks you get on the video, the more money you make if it's monetized. Okay, that's what that's all about. So I like to look at these thumbnails. I sometimes laugh. Does this look like a typical thumbnail? It just cracks me up when I see that stuff. Oh, Phil, while you're on here, after the WNL show, sometime after the WNL show, I have to go down to Linda's. Am I buffering again? This thing, see, this is what frustrates me. I'm paying for high-speed internet. I should not be buffering at all. And I can tell how this thing is hesitating. It looks like I'm buffering a little bit. If I am, hang in there. Hopefully it'll get better. Why? Oh, why did I buy a new car at this time? Well, I did not want to buy a new car at this time. I had to. My other car got totaled out. because of its age, not because of any condition. It was a great car. I didn't want to get rid of it. Never planned on getting rid of it. I like being debt free. That's just me. It was paid for. The motorhome was paid for. The house is paid for. I like being debt free. I'm not saying it financially that's the smartest thing to do, but that's just me. Like I said before, you got to do what makes you sleep well at night. Well, after they totaled the car out, up to which we still haven't been paid yet by the insurance company, we got to the point where we had to do something. So we're going around to the different car lots. Sue did most of this, and found that I told her, I said, try to find something around a 2018, 2019, 2020, like a lease turn-in. That's what we usually do. Something with like 20,000-ish miles on it, because we save all that depreciation at first, and we've always done well doing it this way. So she was looking, and then she brings all these papers, things, homes to me, and I'm looking at them, and I'm saying, well, this brand new car is $32,000, and this car with no warranty left on it and has 20,000 miles on it, but it's 3 years old, is $19,500. No, I'm sorry, $29,500. That's only like $3,000 difference between a new one and a used one, and they were all that way. So that's why we bought a new one. It'd be only because of that reason. Now we get into the problem of getting the car, because everybody's telling me it could be 6 months waiting for a new car, blah, blah, blah. But we know a guy, and we called him. So I think I'm just going to get another Chevy Equinox. We both could like it. We both like the car. Gas mileage ain't the greatest in the world, but it's okay, I suppose. As time goes on, it may not be okay, but they get like 28 on the highway. And that's probably if you drive at 55 miles an hour. So the way I drive, I'm probably going to average 25, 24, give or take. So, hey. They're all from Canada. All them girls are from Canada. And every evening about this time, they go to the swimming pool. And they'll be up there for hours. Coming from Canada, I'm guessing this time of year, you probably can't do that up there. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh. So we ended up getting new, and I called a guy out we knew. We told him what we wanted. He gets the computer out. He has a whole list of cars all over the state of Florida that he can't get, but they're on their way here. There's no guarantee when they will get here. And he says, what color are you looking at? I said, well, we were looking at another white one because of the heat down here in the summer months. They say white's cooler. I can't guarantee that's true. I had a white car before. But we had that car before we came here. No, we didn't. We bought that car after we got here. We got white then, yeah. So anyway, I said, truthfully, I kind of like the new red colors. They have all kinds of different kind of reds. He looks on the computer. He says, I got a red one here. He said that I think I can get it in here within the next week. Because at that time it was in, I want to say somewhere in Georgia, at a yard, storage area. I said, well, that's what do I got to do to get that car? He said, give me a deposit on it. He said, that'll give you first right of refusal. He said, nobody here wants to give us a deposit. Why not? He said, I don't know. He said, everybody's asking about new cars. We tell them we got these coming in. If you're interested, give us a deposit, and we'll call you as soon as it gets here. But he said, most of them just shy away from that deposit thing. They don't want to do it. Well, I'm not afraid of it. So we gave him a deposit. It was $500 deposit. And he called us, told us the car was in. I went around and looked at it, and it had everything he said it had on it. It's got a lot of things on it that I don't really want, but it's there because it's part of a package deal, like heated steering wheel. Who in the hell needs that in Florida? But it's part of a package thing. So you take the good and you take the bad. This time you just do it. So we bought it. I got that car home within 6 days, I think, from the time that we talked to him. And he got 6 new cars in, I think, that day. He called me up and said, hey, do you mind coming in later this afternoon for your car? Because we know your car you're going to take it. He said, I got a bunch of people looking at these new cars and they're wanting to take them home. He said, I'd like to get them out of here so we can take time with yours. Probably a sales technique there. So we can take time with you because you're special. I said, sure, I don't care. So I went down there, and our car was the seventh car, I think, that came in that day. And when we left, they were all gone, every one of them. And on that video, you may not see it yet. I did a little video down there. I'm going to show you the parking lot, huge parking lot. And it's like empty. There's like nothing there. And the only things really left are used cars. And they got the prices on them probably jacked up a little bit because that's it. Take it or leave it. But yeah, the cars are disappearing pretty quick. And here's how it's working with our guy. He has no say-so. The owner of the dealership has the say-so on how to negotiate these cars. Is that sticker price. That's it. Take it or leave it. There's no Jewing. I'm sorry. It's just a phrase. There's no dickering. How's that? Somebody will make an issue out of that word too. There's no dickering on the price. If you want to trade a vehicle in, you might dicker that a little bit, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, I didn't have a vehicle trade in, so that wasn't us. We went in and we picked out whatever extra stuff we wanted and said no to everything else, signed the papers, got our thing. By the way, when you buy a new car here in Florida, the dealership gives you the license plates and everything. You don't go to a license branch afterwards. When you leave him, you're done. And I really like that. Marcia, I can tell you this. I don't know about outside doctors. I don't know about that. How many doctors are available? I don't know. But I can tell you in the village's health system to get you started, you can sign up for the village's health system and you're immediately in. They will, I don't know what the process is now, but when I went down and talked to the insurance company, which is United Health, and they're connected with the village's health, and you have to get on your Medicare Advantage, the Advantage plan. I don't know if they've changed that, but back when I did mine, you had to have the Advantage plan to get into village's health. A lot of people are skeptical about that for whatever their personal reasons are. I'm basically healthy, so I don't have a big problem with it. And I think that's the reason why Sue went outside the villages, because she has health issues that the villages, oh, I know what it was. She fell into the donut hole on Medicare. So we could not do that. If you don't know what the Medicare donut hole is, it's a big hole. Trust me on that. But I did that, the Advantage plan with United Healthcare, and it's worked well for me. I do know that they'll sit down with you and they'll get you started with your doctor and get you in and all that kind of thing to get you going. And then after you're in, then later, or maybe you should do it beforehand, call Craig Morrison. I'm telling you, I mean, and I don't generally tell anybody to call anybody unless I know for facts. He's a busy guy, so you may have to call him several times. I call him the Medicare Florida insurance expert. He knows how the village's Medicare system works. He knows how Medicare in the state of Florida works. He knows all the insurance companies in Florida, like Florida Blue, how it works. He knows all the veterans benefits here and how it works. And you tell him what your situation is, and Craig Morrison can probably get you started in the right direction that you need to go. Now, what he charges to do all this, I don't know. That's his business, not mine. I do know that to talk to him on the phone and get information from him is free. He told me that. He said, you can talk to us about anything you want. He said, that's absolutely free. So, and I have him on my guest usually around October. That's when everybody has a chance to re-up their Medicare, and so that's why he's on. So if you don't have Craig Morris's number, email me, g1rump2y@gmail.com, and I'll send you his phone number. And you may have to call several times and leave messages, because I'm telling you, he's a busy guy, and he'll get back to you, and then you can maybe use him as a way of getting started. KM says Sue and the gals are probably watching Skip Live. You kidding me? These girls are out to lunch and I don't even know what they talk about or what they do. And to be honest with you, I don't even care. I don't. You know, she goes to these neighborhood things. They all once in a while they have it called Margarita Monday. I don't know where they have them. They probably move around to different areas, like different country clubs, sit outside at a big long table. 20 or 30 of them show up. And who knows what they're talking about? Maybe they're telling dirty jokes back and forth across the table. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is she has a good time doing it. She enjoys doing it. So she goes and does it. Well, Patrick, I don't even know what you're talking about there. That's over my head. But I can tell you that but reason why I've got what I've got, I got high speed with Comcast. I had, before this, I had Bright House, and then Bright House sold out to another company. I can't think of the name of it. I know somebody on here will remind me the name of the other, not Comcast. Oh my gosh. Somebody on here will tell me the name of the company. Anyway, they have business Wi-Fi, which is like, I think it's what you're talking about, a direct contact. Because I can't imagine businesses, having this problem at all. I know when UPS, we got on the computer, and I worked in the office for a long time with UPS, and their computers was fast, instantaneous, 24 hours a day, because 24/7 is what companies need, UPS, 24/7. And it was always on time every time. So I went down there and talked to them about getting that, basically because of the WNL show. I didn't want any glitches. And they told me I couldn't do it. I had to have a business to do it. And it's actually been on my mind because over the years, my Villages channel, not necessarily my RV channel, but my Villages channel now has actually turned into a small business, whether I like it or not. I get 1099 forms now from Google for the advertisements that's on there. And I have to have write-offs and things because I don't want to pay taxes on that money, and I don't want Uncle Sam to have any of that tax money. I don't owe Uncle Sam anything anymore, as far as I'm concerned. So I give all that away, basically. That's where a lot of things, when I do the Wish Foundation thing, I throw a chunk of money in there and take it down and give it to them. That's a write-off for me. The Wednesday Night Live, we have games. The money for them games comes from different sources, but basically those games write-offs is a write-off for me. The high-speed internet, the new computer I bought, that in there, and I only use it for my videos and stuff. I don't use it for nothing else. The camera I've got set up in there, the camera attachments, the cords, oh my God, it scared me to death. What the heck was that? Oh God, must be my neighbor starting his Corvette. Whew, Lord, I gotta have a drink. I gotta calm down. So anyway, now I got to record all that income, like the super chats and things, of the which I only get 70%. For you bean counters out there, I get 70% of them super chats and stuff. That's it. So I got to record that 70%. And I do, but then I got to have a write-off so I don't pay taxes on that. So that's why we give away prizes. It's a write-off. And I try to keep it as even Steven as I possibly can. Sometimes I can't, but I try to keep it that way. Spectrum, that's it. Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it. I can't remember nothing anymore. Spectrum. So I found out that if I want to, I can go down and get a business license here in Suffolk County, which are required. Then you got to have these other papers you got to fill out. Take them down to Spectrum, and I can get a business account for that. I don't know what the direct Wi-Fi business accounts are. I don't know what the monthly fee is on that. That could be a game changer too, because I thought Comcast was enough. When I first got high speed with Comcast, it was $90 a month. Standard Spectrum Wi-Fi was $45, and because I don't like all the stuff that come with it, like telephones and stuff. I don't want all that. But then they for a long time they were all saying, "Oh, well, you got to get cable to get it." I didn't want cable. Well, now they don't require that as much because streaming has become a way of life now. So it was 90. Now I'm understanding, I have to check it out, but somebody told me that Comcast Wi-Fi now, high-speed Wi-Fi, which is, they don't call it high-speed, they call it something else, but basically it's supposed to be high-speed. And it's like 120 a month now. I'm sure COVID had something to do with that also. So, and here's a problem I have with it. It's not reliable. What the hell am I paying for if I can't rely on this stuff? I don't care that 500 people get on this thing. That's not my problem. My problem is I pay $120 a month for high speed. That's what I expect, 24/7. And if they got a problem with it, they need to figure it out, not me. So last time I called them up, here's my normal Wi-Fi speed, and I don't know anything about this. These are just numbers that I can tell you when I check it. My download is usually around 250, and my upload speed really never changes much. It's usually around 25. Once in a great while, I mean in a great while, it might get upwards of 26, but very seldom. More likely than not, it stays between 22 and 24. The upload speed. But really, that's always worked out pretty well for me for the videos. Well, there's been a time or two that I've noticed that on doing my videos, it's taking a long time to upload something to YouTube. So I'm like, man, what's going on? And I'll check the Wi-Fi speed, and my download will be 50, and my upload will be like 1. I get better stuff than that in the RV and an RV park. So I noticed something wrong, and I called them up. I said, what's going on with this? This has happened 2 or 3 times, and then tomorrow it'll be okay again. And she said, oh, well, she said, whenever it does that, she said, just unplug your modem and plug it back in and let it reset. And when I do that, it generally resets. Why am I doing that? I shouldn't have to do that. This tells me that there's something wrong somewhere. Something wrong with their modem, something wrong in the line, something wrong wherever. I shouldn't have to deal with any of this. If my car don't start when I start it, that's a guarantee, a warranty, a dealer problem, not my problem. I'm not crawling under the car. I'm not working on it. I'm not working on the modem. I'm not working on the lines. It's their problem. And I'm a stock believer in that. If people quit falling for this stuff and make them fix it and fix it right, this stuff will get taken care of. It's just like down the Fenney area. For the longest time, and I think it's still true, their Verizon cell signal down there is awful, depending on what section you're in. When we played golf down there, we were all on the, I'm going to say Gray Fox, one of them golf courses that was fairly new around the Fenney area. None of us. And we had all kinds of phones, from AT&T to T-Mobile to I don't even know what all. Nobody had a cell signal. We could not call out. We all had to get on our phones and change it to Wi-Fi call, and that's the only way we could call out. That's how bad it was. Today, I don't know, but it was that bad back then. Starlink seems to be a big thing, KM. I actually have a friend that's got one, and he sent it back. I'm not sure of the exact reason, but I do know you had to buy the Starlink. I think he told me his was $500, and then when he bought it, there's something about setup, and I don't know what it involves. I don't. He got it because it's mobile. He can use it at his house, and he has an RV, and he can take it with him in the RV and use it anywhere he wanted to use it. That's what he told me. I don't know if that's 100% true. You may want to check in on that yourself. But he said that the very first week that he got it and set it up, he got a notification on his email, I guess, that the rates were going to be raised from 90 to, I forget now, 100 and some dollars, whatever it was. And he said, I haven't had this thing a month, and already they're raising my rate. So he took it apart, put it back in a box, whatever it was, and sent it back. That's all I know about it. You're right, Jerry. Says everybody always advertises the download speed, but they never talk about the upload speed. And if you cut videos like I do, like a lot of people do, it's the upload speed you need to be concerned about, really, more than the download speed. The upload is where I take a video I've got and I'm uploading it to YouTube. I'm transferring it to them. That's the upload speed. And so that's the speed I really need to be concerned with. And it's even during WNL. It's not really the download speed. It's the upload speed. And of course, you got the CPU stuff that my computer has to handle with 5 people being on the show at one time. Plus the chat line over here, it's taking up some speed. All this kinds of stuff. I don't understand any of it, but I know that it all has something to do with it. And so I experiment a lot by, instead of having like 4 people on the show at one time, cut it down to 3. And then take somebody out, put somebody in, and see if that helps out. But according to StreamYard, I can have as many as 10 guests at one time on there. I don't think I'm ever going to do that because I'm afraid it'll all stop. Marjorie says, my sister is looking to buy the Equinox. How do you like it? Well, Marjorie, the other Equinox we had, we both liked the car. As you can see, when me and Sue's together, we are completely different sized people. I'm 6'1". 200 and my weight changes. Last time I weighed it, I was 240. Sue is like 5 foot something. I don't even know. And she has short legs. I got long legs. So one of the things that I like in a car is programmable seats. Because when she gets out of the car, if I have to squeeze in there to be able to adjust the seat, I can't even hardly get in there. I mean, that's how close the steering wheel is to the seat. So this one has programmable seats in the door, which I like that better because the other car we had, the programmable seats was on the side of the seat, which that's okay, but the door's better. And so we have that. Tilt and telescoping wheel, because she's short. She can telescope that wheel closer to her, and then she can move the seat if she wants to, as close to the gas pedal and stuff as she wants. So that works out well for her. Now this is the premium package. The other one was LTX, LXT, whatever. And really all that really means is we got pinstriping on the car and a lot of chrome. That's really the, it was a leather package too, but I've said it before, that's just me. I know the leather package, everybody loves them. I know the leather package does make the car look really, really nice. And the leather package for retail means your car will be worth more, and so on and so forth. But I'll be honest with you, I really almost prefer cloth seats, seriously. Because, I don't know, they just seem to be more comfortable, they air out better, whatever, and it's cheaper to buy. But anyway, we got the leather seats in this one because why? It's part of the Premier package. So you don't have a choice. Just like navigation. I don't really care about navigation on a car. I mean, we have these things. One, that's free navigation. I got 2 or 3 GPSs. The best GPS is the one from my RV. It's great. I would just put that in there and use it. But no, I got a Premier package, so I get GPS. I get heated steering wheel. Oh, and more importantly, I get heated seats. I'll never use none of that. But we do like the car. Ride's good. If I had to try to pick out a word to describe it, whichever one you ever get, you can get the other one too. You don't have to get all that stuff I got. We just got the premier car, and I would call it a Cadillac at a Chevrolet budget. Because a good Cadillac with everything in it's going to cost you what, 65, 70 grand now or more. And this car, brand new, sticker price was 32. I want to say 32.5. I haven't done a video on it yet. I'm hesitant. I did video of the car and everything. I'm hesitant on it because who cares? It almost like look like you're bragging or something, and I'm not. I just thought it might make good video for somebody else that might be interested in buying it. I'm not a good product review guy. I never have been. It just seems like on a lot of channels, everybody's getting in this product review, and it's always about the same stuff. And here's how I feel about it. If Chevrolet wants to pay me to do a review on my channel, I might consider it and then give you my actual opinion at the end of it. But why should I do a review for them for nothing? They're going to sell cars. I'm doing reviews. I'm not getting paid to do that. So I just don't want to do it. They're not giving me a free car to do a review. That's how I feel about half the stuff. I just don't really want to do it. But my opinion is, it's a good car for me and Sue. I think it's overpriced. That's just my opinion. But at today's prices on things, is it really? To buy one 2 years old is going to cost you almost as much. Seriously, the used car prices here are just, they're high. Phil Bird says, gotta go, gotta run. Be careful, see you tonight. Okay, Phil. He's a 9 to 5er. He's probably late for lunch. KM says, pick me, pick me. If you're a YouTube member, KM, here's a real easy way to know if you're still a YouTube member. YouTube members have access to that red pick me button that nobody else has access to. So if you can get to that pick me button, matter of fact, I'm looking on here. I don't think you are a YouTube member anymore. Because even if you're not green, unless something's happened here, let me look, I'm checking things. Yeah. Look at Jerry Bell, real example. Now he's a moderator, so he turns blue. But look to the right of his wrench. The wrench means he's a moderator. See that little symbol right there? I put them on there too. And if you're a YouTube member, you automatically get those also next to your name. And I noticed that you don't have anything next to your name. Now you don't have to join. Don't make it sound like that you have to join. There's Cindy G. See Cindy G's? Let me see if I get this on here. See the pick me buttons down there? I know it's not really showing up very well. The red square buttons right there. Only YouTube members have access to that. And she also has a little frog next to her name. That shows me she is a YouTube member. So that's why I say double check. Cindy G, also, there's a black W and L thing on there. Can you see that black W and L? Where is it at? Right there. And then see that little symbol there? That shows me she's a YouTube member. So it's just a thought. Just check it and make sure you still are. They may have accidentally kicked you off for some reason. I don't know. I think that says Pittsburgh Pitts. There's a Chevy dealer in Clearwater getting 2 new Corvettes. Sticker is $105,000. They are selling for $205,000. See, that's what I'm talking about. This is just corporate greed. This is just gouging the public. And there is gouging laws. I don't know about Florida, but I know in Indiana there's gouging laws. And we once had a mayor that took that serious. I don't know about Florida. Maybe that's perfectly legal to do. I don't know. But I can tell you, I got a long memory. And all these dealers that we went to over here in Leesburg that's adding that upcharge to their cars, $5,000 above sticker price, They, for as long as my life lasts, they will never ever get business from me, ever. And I'll be sure to tell people I know that move here to beware of those dealers over there because they're dishonest and they're greedy. If they'll do that now during these economic times and people are really, you know, having maybe a hard time budgeting their money and things because of grocery prices, gas prices, things like that, they'll screw you even in the good times. You know, how, especially in the garage. That's where they're going to get you. Oh, the parts. Oh, that new headlight's a special headlight. We had to pay $500 for that headlight. And it's a minimum of 4 hours labor to put that in. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff they can do. CM says, yes, testing to see if I'm a member. Yep, see that little frog to the right of your name, CM? That little square frog? That tells me you're a member. Okay, let me just, I'm going to get ready to leave here and go in there and finish up the W&L stuff. I don't have a whole lot to do. I just like to double check everything. I mean, I do everything I can do to try to help make sure there's no unforeseen glitches. And so I want to go in there and double check things again and just kind of rest and relax and get my mind right. Sometimes I'll take a little nap before the show to so my mind will work a little quicker on things. But basically, I just don't want the Wi-Fi glitches and things. I just like to have fun on the show. That's all. I like to have some fun, play the games. I like to pick out games that are fun. The last two W&Ls, what's her name? Gracie. Gracie's been making the games for us. She's been sending them to me, and then I go through them, and I may tweak them a little bit, or I may say yes to this one and no to that one, that kind of thing. And she's been doing that, and she sent a game for this month, and I tweaked it, and I also kind of added to it a little bit to make it more difficult. And the reason why I wanted to make it a little bit more difficult for everybody, by the way, my the girls on the show doesn't know if they don't watch this that I've made it more difficult. Oh, they're going to love it. They're going to love it. Is because on this particular show, the one-time gift we're giving away on that game is probably the largest gift we've ever given away on this show. I'm not going to say anymore. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If it works, we may do it again. If it don't work, next show I'll tweak it. That kind of stuff don't bother me. But let me just say now, and I'm not e-begging or anything. You don't have to do anything for me. But the super chats and the super stickers is what determines the size of the giveaway for next month's show. And on next month's show, I'm working on what I consider to be a very special guest. It's not in stone yet, but I talked to them last month. They couldn't do it last month. Or I talked to them last month about being on this month's show, and they couldn't do it this month. So the person told me, said, can I pencil you in on May? I said, sure, because I don't have a guest for May. I don't have these guests ahead of time, like people think. Sometimes I get the guest 3 days before show. I wish I had enough people willing to come on the show, because then I could schedule it month to month to month ahead of time and not have to worry about it, but I don't. So anyway, he's penciled in on my calendar for May, and I want to get back to him, though, because I got to do a systems check and talk to him about, I'm polite, we ask, is there anything you don't want to talk about? And if there is, I avoid it. And if somebody on the chat should bring up a question about something they said they don't want to talk about, my moderators are alerted of these things. I send them emails, and they know to basically, I hate to put it in a bad way, but they ignore your question because that person didn't want to talk about that. So we ignore it. And we hope you guys understand why. we do some of those things. It's not because we are ignoring you, we're not. They prefer not to talk about it, so we ignore your question if it is about something they didn't want to talk about. Oh, I know what it was. I reach out to a lot of people about being a guest on my show, up to a veil. 50% of them never respond. 50% of them don't respond for who knows why. So many people don't respond because, truthfully, they don't even read their own emails. They don't. They got an email, and when you send stuff to their email, you find out later, oh, I got that. My wife made me get that. I never look at that. She goes there, I think, but I never. So it's just a waste of time. But you guys know Ed McGinty. You've heard his name mentioned on my news channel when he had all kinds of problems here, his political views. And he is really one of the main reasons why I don't like to discuss political matters in depth. Some of my key words that puts your comments in an area on my YouTube channel where I have to approve your comment before you can actually see it in the comments is I put certain keywords in there. And if your comment has any of those keywords, you immediately goes into the file that I have to approve your comment to be on the channel. Now, believe this or not, probably 50% of those that go into that file, I approve them because the way they're using one of those keywords isn't necessarily a negative way, and so I approve it and put it on there. But there's a lot of anything you put on there, hashtag something, whatever it may be. It could be hashtag another YouTube channel address. It could be hashtag another, I don't even know what, another, a website. Any of that kind of stuff all goes into that file, because if it says hashtag anything, it's not going to come up in my comments. And then probably at least 50% of those are from foreign countries, and it's from porn sites. So those never get approved. They're always in there, and once they're in there, then I block them. But they come up with different names all the time, and I have to keep blocking and keep blocking and keep blocking. So I try to keep all them out as much as possible. Thus, moderators' importance. If any of them should happen to sneak through somehow, they know to take those out right away. And so that's the hard part of a moderator job. Are they actually enjoying the show, or are they watching the comments constantly to catch that stuff? I hope they're enjoying a little bit of show anyway, because we really want them to. But moderating the channel sometimes can be an effort. So that's why the more moderators you have on a show, the easier it is for everybody. Because if you don't get it, that person did. If they don't get it, that person did. I mean, it's just easier. And it's less things that I have to worry about. So during the show, other than a glimpse once in a while, truthfully, I'm not really reading the chat that much. I'm too busy concentrating on guests, what they're saying, questions, the little sound button, take this guest out, bring another one in. I'm watching the show on a monitor to see if we're clear, to see if the audio's good, that kind of stuff. And then I might glance at the chat and see what people are talking about. Or if I'm doing the game show, if I'm waiting for an answer from somebody, I'll look at the chat to see when you guys start answering that question correctly. Because at that point, that's generally when I'm going to say, okay, time's up. Because I know that those girls are looking at the chat for an answer. And so I end it that quick. But it's okay. I love it when you guys are playing the game with us. So hopefully you'll be at the WNL tonight. And hopefully the price is good for everybody. Hopefully you'll be the winner. You may or may not be, but if you're not there, and if you're not on the chat, then you don't have a chance in hell to win, do you? I'm going to get out of here. We're going to finish up. Thanks for coming to Porch Settin. I know that Porch Settin sometimes is a little boring, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. Great day today. If you're not in the villages, I look forward to seeing you down here someday. See you all later. I'll see you all on the other side.